of that humongous speedway in which they race the Indy 500. So this came out yesterday where track officials mentioned that the grandstands will only be open to 50% capacity, but there will still be additional health and safety measures announced. I imagine social distancing will maintain, and you'll have to wear a mask and all of the other things that hand sanitizer will be available, all the things that you've been told. Everybody's encouraged to buy their tickets online. Don't show up to the box expecting day of. Now, if you're over 65 or have anything that might compromise your health due to COVID-19 specifically, you're asked to stay home. Actually, I think you might be mandated. I'm not sure if they can legally do that. So there could be some gray area that they're wiggling around. But 50% capacity, August 23rd. That is very ambitious. I don't think it's impossible. I even say by any means, but I think that right now is the target for seeing progress with fans in the stand. And if they do 50% at the end of August, you're damn right you can jump to that conclusion that the NFL will start at least half full.
There's no way.
Yeah,
that's Derek's all right.
I went to the Indy 500 last year.
Did you?
There was I know it's not going to be like it was last year, but oh my God, there was so many people there. If you have any kind of physical ailment, I wouldn't go at all.
I battery for my car and even installed it for free. Wow. Now my car starts like
where
new.
Is it? Like what? Like where? I'm sorry. Where? So where were you in the infield?
So my dad is handicapped, so they drove us around through the infield, and there was so many parties. There was at least 4 different parties within the infield going on at one time. A concert over here, a giant party over here, a giant party over here. It was insane. There was so many people just going crazy inside the infield.
You want to get back in the shape?
Oh, it was nuts.
I'm trying to think what would be comparable to that. Preakness. I've been to a couple of the Preaknesses.
1321 to get a complimentary bottle of award-winning.
That might, depending on how big the festivities are before, that might do it. But that was the most I've ever seen for anything that I've been to.
A man feels stronger, leaner, more energetic, and more passionate.
And guys, she'll like the difference too.
Nugenic samples are not available in stores. To get your complimentary bottle, text MAIN to 321321. That's MAIN to 321321.
My name is Megan Eddings, and I am not only the founder and CEO of Excel Lifestyle, but I am the chemist who invented the Prima antibacterial face masks. Research shows that wearing a face mask will drastically reduce the spread of coronavirus. In some cities, wearing a face mask is mandatory. At Excel Lifestyle, we want to help keep you and your loved ones safe and healthy. Our masks actually exceed the CDC's recommendations, as our masks are washable, soft, double layer for added protection, and even antibacterial. Hospitals such as Houston Methodist have purchased thousands of Excel Prima antibacterial masks to help their frontline healthcare professionals stay safe. To buy your mask, please go to excellifestyle.com. That's ACCELLIFESTYLE.com. Once we receive your order, we will ship your mask out immediately. Thank you and stay safe.
You're going on a trip, but where are you going to stay? How much will it cost? Well, it'll cost less by booking on besthotelrates.com. BestHotelRates.com works with all the top hotels in the country while delivering you great hotel and room choices for the best prices. Why wait? Go to BestHotelRates.com, enter your email address, and start shopping for your next hotel room. BestHotelRates.com, it's in the name. BestHotelRates.com.
This is SB Nation Radio
and SBNationRadio.com.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here.
Mike shot.
So you mentioned in the break that you went to the Brickyard.
Yeah, last year.
This is pretty impressive. That's a hell of a trek, right, for you?
Oh, yeah. Me and my dad went it was for him. He's been a dream of his forever, but
that's really cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So you guys got to share that together.
Yes.
Yeah, did you fly up at the time?
No, we drove from Houston all the way to Indianapolis.
What? How long of a drive is that?
I can't remember now. It's a long drive.
Oh, I'm trying to remember. I used to do every now and again when I was in Nashville, I'd make that drive up to Chicago. And I had a couple of buddies who lived in Chicago, so I would take some time off and do like a long weekend. And it's not that I hate to fly. I would much rather drive, even if it's a long trip. I mean, I drove 2 years ago from Philadelphia to Atlanta for the Super Bowl. I drove down and back. I rented a car, drove down and back. I'd much rather drive, even if it's a trek, I'd much rather drive than not. So I don't fault you for doing that. I'm just thinking that's got to be a long trip.
A very long trip.
18 hours, something like that?
In a small car, too. Yeah. It was probably about 17, 18 hours.
Okay, so you're a small car, too, right?
Yes.
Now, it looks like as far as driving is concerned, well, about 15 and 20 minutes. All right, so we oversold it a little bit. 15 hours and 20 minutes. You could do that in a day. Come on.
No, we didn't. No.
No, I know. That's very
no, it probably felt like 18 hours then. I couldn't remember exactly, but I knew it was a very, very long, grueling trip in a small car. And our air conditioner went out on the trip.
Oh, my goodness.
So it was horrible.
This sounds like a nightmare getting there.
Getting there and getting back was a nightmare. The track itself was phenomenal and absolutely full of people.
I'm sorry.
You couldn't go anywhere. Like we drove on a golf cart through the inside of the track, and there was at least 4 separate giant parties going on at one time in the inner circle.
Were you able to get out and kind of see what was going on, or were you kind of just driving around and then getting to a spot?
We were just trying to drive around and get to a spot because it was crazy. We drove by a girl doing a keg stand? Yeah. I mean, it was insane. The parties were insane. There was a full concert going on one side while the parties were going on the other. I just don't know how 50% is going to work for them, man. That's
the infield, right?
That's just the infield. Yeah.
So the infield is out right now. It's the grandstands we're talking about, but I'm more curious about the infield because that's where you get the better stories. And I mentioned to you that the only thing this really reminds me of that's comparable in my head would be me going to the Preakness. Gettysburg College, it's not far. It's pretty close, actually, of a drive to Baltimore. And you get Pimlico and the Preakness. And it's an amazing experience because it's truly like this small town experience in a big city where you're parking on people's lawns. It's like what you hear going to Packers games, right? Where half of the parking is in neighborhoods and people are allowing their lawns to be parking lots. And you've got locals that live in the neighborhood that are directing cars and traffic to park on the street and lawns. And it was like that immediately where you park and then you go in. So I've been to 3 of these. Couple of years in Gettysburg. It's what you do during the time. And you go down, start out in the infield, one area, and you just make your trek from one side of the infield to the other. And I kid you not, in 3 years, I might have seen 3 horses. That's it. You don't even know, because back then, too, there's no app to gamble on. There's nothing that you'd be paying attention to. And as you describe it, it's just party after party, and it's just nonstop belligerence, debauchery, just partying. And from keg stands are the most PG thing you see when it comes to what's happening in the infield. So that's the only thing I can think of that would be comparable to this. And to be fair, the Indy 500 is a bigger event than the Preakness. Even if you get whoever it may be as a Triple Crown favorite winning the Derby going into the Preakness, there's nothing comparable from any other driver or racing type sport, if it's a car or horse, that's comparable to the Indy 500. So I'm thinking, man, this sounds a lot like the Preakness, and going to that monster party in the infield and not remembering if you even saw a horse and then multiplying that by like 20. Sounds to that level of insanity.
That is exactly right. And it's funny you say that because surrounding the track is a bunch of neighborhoods that use their yards for parking, and I guarantee you those families that live in that house make a killing that entire week.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're right. That's the thing. I'm sorry. That's exactly what you get is this small town atmosphere around it. Now, here's the thing. You're right in that is a pipe dream where NASCAR would be able to fit anybody in the infield. And it's really a disservice to any type of public health. It's one thing. Think about it. They have to mandate social distancing by keeping the grandstands at 50%. We're probably a long way away from any infield being truly populated, because at that point it's just the field and it's really difficult. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but unlike, and maybe this has changed, but when I was going to the Preakness, you couldn't bring in RVs and big vehicles like that. But I believe right at the Brickyard, can you get clearance for like trucks and RVs and stuff?
I believe you can. Yeah, they had different RVs parked in through there and stuff like that. Yeah, I believe you can.
Got it.
I think they might have like a camping thing within it where you can spend the week or spend the night. You just pay a lot of money.
Yes, but that's part of what you can pay for.
Yeah, and even if you don't have that, though, I still think if you
it's insane.
Yeah, but I still think those parties will go on. They just won't be on the infield.
Correct. That's the thing is you're going to in the parking lot. Like where would they be? Not in the grandstand. You're only going to have 50%. I mean, you're going to have people going crazy, partying and drinking, but I feel like the infield is more conducive to not keeping 6 feet away from people, right?
There's
bouncing
no way.
into bodies and all this other stuff that's
There's
going
no
on.
way.
No, I mean, it's like, a meat market out there, especially depending on how big of the event it is. But I do think, though, that as much as you're looking at the big picture of sports, NASCAR, the Indy 500, the Brickyard, is going to be a great example of what can happen for the next 3 or 4 months. I don't know if this is going to get reeled back based on cases, if there's anything recent over the next 2 weeks. Again, we're talking about the end of August. So you still have some time for this thing to get better or worse. And that's how things have been working on a day-to-day basis here. But we're talking about August 23rd. We're not even in July right now. Technically, it's only 4 days away earlier on the calendar. We're about 2 months away from this thing, give or take 4 days. So, yeah, it's not outside the realm of ridiculous to expect that things would improve to the point in which you could justify 50%. We could also see things get significantly worse. And by the end of August, we're back in the house. And we've already seen areas like Houston and other parts in Florida go back to shutting down and closing bars and closing establishments where people are either gathering outdoors or even worse indoors. So we are heading towards remitigating. And we saw the first time mitigating worked. It's just what happens when you come back out. That could be the case. This thing could go anyway. There isn't any Dr. Fauci or anybody else with a doctor in front of their name can't be specific and tell you what's going to happen August 23rd if, in fact, NASCAR is going to be able to go 50% or not. Two things, though. First, if, in fact, NASCAR is at 50% at the end of August 23rd, week 1 to week 4, however long they'll need to get the sample size back, the NFL will operate at the very least at 50% capacity without a doubt in my mind. You're going to see the NFL set that bar and say, this is where we open up stadiums at 50%. Baseball, we'll see. The NBA, NHL won't matter. They'll be in 1 or 2 hub cities. It's not going to make an impact having fans in the stands. But baseball, yes, you'd like to think them having people in the stands. They're going to start too early. So they're going to look at now trying to take this in stages and seeing if they can go from 0 to 25% to 50%. Meanwhile, once again, the NFL is benefiting from being way back in the lineup and watching what people are doing. It's a foursome out there, or fivesome, depending on other sports that you want to throw in there. And every single time everybody's on the green, the NFL is just sitting back and watching people in front of them hit these breaks. And to be fair, it's like they got on first, they're a little farther out, and then they're watching everybody else, one or two more shots get in front of them, and they say, all right, after you, or behind them, pardon me, and they're watching the break. So the NFL is close, and they're just watching everybody else in order. That's what I meant, back in the order, but closer to the green. Sorry if I confused you or you walked away feeling confused. That happens as much as a derailment, trust me. At Shander Show, twitch.tv/Shander Show, 800-224-2004. The other thing is, will any sport now go the way of the NFL? This happened where all of a sudden we got this announcement that the NFL is going to tarp the first couple of rows of the stadiums and put up ads on the tarp and basically have that as a general advertisement to try and recoup any of the money that's lost by not having a human being in those seats. So already there is a plan to have not only fans in the stands, but also some sort of mechanism out there, like a tarp with an advertisement on it, to where you can make some money back losing a bunch with people out there, not being able to sit in every single seat. That seems to be the immediate future in sports, live sports and stadiums, right? Wouldn't that be the easy copycat thing to do now? It doesn't matter if you're in a baseball stadium, if you're at the Brickyard. It doesn't matter if it's a NASCAR race, anywhere. Even if you have grandstands set up at a PGA tournament, you can tarp off certain rows. This is a genius idea where I'm surprised other sports haven't jumped into this pool and said, we're doing the NFL thing. NASCAR, what are you going to do? 50% full. Are you going to have people just staggered around, or are you going to cut off a certain amount of rows knowing that you can still stagger people but keep them somewhat even? Let's say the upper bowl, something like that, up and even. Even if it's the upper bowl, we've seen this before where stadiums that can't fill are tarping them because it just looks better than empty seats. Well, in this case, it's mandated that you have empty seats, so put an advertisement up there. You want to go 50% here for the Indy 500? Put some ads up on a tarp. You're not going to get anything squat when it comes to the infield, so you might as well bring something back. Well, we're losing all this money because of no fans. Here's an easy solution. You may get some money back. You may get 85% of the money back. You may just be the difference between hemorrhaging and not. But it's a strategy that I am truly shocked we're not hearing happening elsewhere. Even around the world, I don't care where you are right now. If it's a soccer game, if it's Korean baseball, Japanese baseball's back up, whatever it may be, if you are not at 100%, even if you're at 50% to 75%, there's an opportunity to tarp your field and put up advertisements. I mean, that's really where we are right now. We talked about this at length a couple of times. It's brought up that Danish soccer league that had the big Zoom where you can sit at home and Zoom into games. Well, right there, you're talking about advertisements up on the screen, especially in the broadcast where you see the Zoom reaction. There's constantly some reminder of who it's sponsored by. This is easy stuff. And it's an easy way out for teams to kind of bring somebody back so you don't have to hear them see us to death about how much money they've lost because fans aren't in the stand. Make no mistake, this is the way around losing a ton of money for these leagues or sports without having fans in the stands. UFC right now going on, anything you point to can get away with this and bring money back. No more sob stories, no more small violins, none of that. It's the weekend edition of the Second Level.
Wake up, Cole! So back to baseball.
Doesn't it feel like Groundhog Day?
It does. Every day, same thing. Every day there's a little bit of news.
I can't remember which team it was, but I heard earlier that one of the teams is taking and they took pictures of all their season ticket holders. And they're putting cardboard cutouts in the seats for the season ticket holders.
Manfred said yesterday there will be 100%. He guarantees there's 100%.
I think I'd rather do the advertising.
So how can he be so sure that he's going to do this? To refresh the course, I feel like I've repeated this.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh, that's a great story, man.
Take a break. We need a break. You're right.
If you're the Giants, though, personally, I think that's cool. I really do, but I think I'd rather do your idea and tarp it off and put an advertisement and make some money, unless they're paying for their.
They are.
For the night.
They're paying for it to be there?
Yeah.
Oh, well, shit.
Here's Coach. How did the whole Tom Brady thing come together for you?
We did our due diligence, and all the guys that were expected to possibly be in the free agency, we broke them all down. And, he was at the top of our list. And then when he decided to leave, we made the phone call, and he and I hit it off pretty good and started working on contracts. And he was interviewing me as hard as I was interviewing him.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern. Pushing the Odds with Matt Perrault.
Tim Brando on Twitter to follow him, joining us on the Progressive Guest Line. People are saying without students on campus, you can't play college football.
We can thank Mark Emmert for opening his mouth and inserting foot. Mark Emmert has no jurisdiction really over college football, but there's a little thing called the 1984 Supreme Court lawsuit won by the Universities of Georgia and Oklahoma that forced the NCAA out of the financial realm of college football. It's like the guy in the California system making this sweeping statement about nothing but online classes later in the year, and he's making the decision with data in May. These guys that just want to see their names in print, making bold decisions that they don't have to make, they illustrate what happens with misuse of power. And the real leaders are doing the right things behind the scenes, and then they'll make their splash when the time comes. And I'm telling you, I think that time will be sometime next month.
Pushing the Odds with Matt Perrault. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 Eastern on SB Nation Radio. Pharrell.
Coast to coast! You know SB Nation's taking over the world, right?
Why, of course.
It's Pharrell here from Sports Grid. Here's what happened. They signed Pharrell Coast to Coast and Morency Game Time Decisions, put it on from 4 to 7 East, and then everybody else in our path. What we're doing is we're destroying them.
Total, complete, absolute annihilation.
And it's a lot of fun.
Oh, this is going to be good!
This is SB Nation Radio.
And SBNationRadio.com.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's
Mike's that.
Edgar.
So you just alerted me to this story here, and it might be a way, actually, looking at how much money this would cost, it's a different way to recoup some money that doesn't have some corporation's logo plastered all over tarps. This story out of San Francisco with the Giants season tickets are pretty impressive. Basically, the offer for Giants season ticket holders, wait a second, I stand corrected. This is for non-season ticket holders. Did you know that?
No, I thought it was just season ticket holders. Wow.
Well, here's the thing. It's for season ticket holders for free. It's for non-season ticket holders at a price, which is genius.
Yes, it is.
So here's what you get. As a season ticket holder, it's free. As a non-season ticket holder, you have to pay $99. And what you have is a cardboard cutout of you in the stands. Now, it's $99. So as a season ticket holder, you know where you sit. And those seats are taken because you get those seats every week, every game, however big your season ticket package may be. So those are locked up for those seats per game. The difference, of course, is as a non-season ticket holder where you may be. I imagine it's going to be really difficult in this ballpark to be a non-season ticket holder and have your face somewhere on TV. Right? It would have to be a foul ball or something maybe hit out in the stands, in the bleachers. Behind home plate has to be prime real estate for season ticket holders. Isn't that a fair assessment? It's how it's been ever since I've been going to parks. If you're buying that ticket behind home plate to where you're going to be on TV, you've bought it on the secondary market or you know who owns that ticket. That's not just available. Maybe in Miami or Baltimore. What had that Marlins man, right? Marlins guy, whatever the hell his name is.
Marlin man or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the seat next to him is open to the public each week. Boy, Marlins tickets and O's tickets are like the municipal course of baseball tickets. It's just, it doesn't matter. You can get in. There are no season tickets. There are no, I mean, I'm sure there are a couple, I'm saying as far as in prime areas. It's no membership requirements, anything like that. You show up in a pair of jeans and Timberlands and you can play golf. I actually saw somebody do that at a municipal course outside of Nashville. It was a really rundown course, and this guy showed up in work boots and jeans, and nobody said anything because it was slow day, and I don't think anybody was monitoring the course. And I'm looking over, and I wasn't good, still not good. And I'm thinking to myself, what's happening right now? And yeah, I had a golf shirt on, some jeans, and some work boots. And I watched him because I was behind him. I was in the group behind him. And every time we saw this guy tee off, I mean, it was straight down the middle. He must have shot. I'm sure he broke 100 easily. But it just shows you that it's never about what you're wearing or using. This is a crazy idea. 60 games, so you're going to get 30 at home. $99 a pop for non-season ticket holders. Here's my question. And, John, I don't know if this would pop up in your brain, but if you're a season ticket holder, why wouldn't you do this? Wouldn't you do this every single game? It's like, here's my picture. Here's my cardboard cutout. Take it and put it where my seat would be in these 30 games.
If it's free, I'm doing it every time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's not necessary. It's like getting 5 or 10% back on a purchase with your credit card. It's not free. You're just getting a little kickback.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, I do it every time for sure.
Seriously, I think it would be really fun if you had a chance to see that randomly.
One of these days, they're going to hit a home run and take the head off of one of these cardboard cutouts.
Now, can you imagine that? There should be some sort of bonus. There should be some sort of added bonus where if you knock somebody's head off with a home run, and it has to be a home run ball, right?
Not a foul ball?
No. Foul ball doesn't count. It has to be in play and over the wall. And it has to truly decapitate a cardboard cutout. But what do you think is a fair amount of money for a ball player if they do that? You get an extra $5,000. I don't know. I don't even know where to start. But what would be a good dollar amount for incentive? Hey, you knock somebody's head off, and it has to be in the air. No bouncing. Because you know these balls are going to bounce now in the stands since there's nobody there to grab it. So no bouncing, no first or second bounce. This thing is just going to fly in the air, and in the downward trajectory, it has to decapitate a cardboard head. If it does, you get what, $10,000?
That seems like a lot, man. I guess I'm not on baseball salary though, but yeah, I would say $5,000. Maybe.
Okay. You think it's going to happen often?
I think it will. If you have enough cardboard cutouts there, yeah, it will.
How many home runs? And this is amazing. I have to save this because I'm going to bring this back up on Monday. How many home runs do you think, let's say out of like 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 5, right? What ratio of home runs hit this year do you think will decapitate a cardboard head on the downward trajectory without a bounce?
That's a good question. I don't know.
You're a betting man.
I would say
1 in 4?
1 in 4, maybe 1 in 5.
It's
yeah,
a good ratio. I like that. 1 in 4.
It depends too, because if other ballparks start following that lead, you're going to see it a lot more too.
Well, that's the thing. We're only talking about here until more people do it, right? And I'd much rather see a cardboard cutout than a tarp. I'd much rather see a cardboard cutout than a stuffed animal. I'd much rather see a cardboard cutout than the sex doll. Well, I don't know, man. That's a tight one right there. But the cardboard cutout, especially if you could add the decapitation element to it, it's pretty cool. Our weekend replay coming up next.
All right, dude. You